Great morning, Rotarians, Rotaractors, and guests. Are you done with your cup of coffee to perk you up? For those who haven't had their caffeine boost yet, don't worry. Our topic this morning is a wake up call as well, so it will help you be alert. Let me start with Joanne's story. At 12 years old, Joanne liked leaping into the sea and racing with the boys. She liked playing tag. When she started having sexual contact at 13, she thought it was just another game. Joanne was playing a game with her friends when an older neighbor noticed her rounding belly. She became pregnant at 14 and gave birth at 15. In this photo, at current time, she and her child traveled by raft between the two shacks where they live in Navota's fish port. Her daughter, Angela, is now a year old. This is Joanne and her sister, both teen mothers. This is just one of the thousands of stories about teenage pregnancy. Early pregnancy is one of the pressing issues Filipino youth are facing today. The Philippines has one of the highest teenage pregnancy rates among the ASEAN member states, despite the decrease of total live births of teenage mothers aged 10 to 19. More youth are engaging in premarital sex, and most of their firsts was unprotected from the risk of conception or sexually transmitted diseases. Despite the increasing levels of sexual activity, majority of the youth of today do not feel they have adequate knowledge about sex. President Rodrigo Duterte has declared the prevention of teenage pregnancies as a quote-unquote national priority. He made the decision as he acknowledged that childbearing in adolescents carries increased risk of health problems for both the mother and the child, such as anemia, sexually transmitted infections, and postpartum hemorrhage. Under Executive Order 141, issued on June 25 just this year, the President stressed the need to implement measures that will address the root causes of the rising number of adolescent pregnancies. An adolescent, according to the World Health Organization, is aged 10 to 19 years old. Teenage pregnancy is the condition of being pregnant at age 10 to 19. In effect, as soon as a young woman experiences her very first menstrual period, she has the capability to be pregnant. Our country has recorded a total of 180,916 live births among adolescents aged 10 to 19 in the year 2019 alone, and this data came from the Civil Registration and Vital Statistics System of the Philippine Statistics Authority. Interestingly, this is equivalent to 495 live births per day in the same age group, 10 to 19 years old. Moreover, only 3% of all live births within the adolescent age group are fathered by young men of the same age group. This is based on the January 2020 policy brief by the United Nations Population Fund Philippines. Such pregnancies may be a result of coercion and unequal power relations between girls and older men. The pandemic has made the situation worse, with Manila under a strict lockdown, including limited access to medical facilities, no public transportation, and harshly enforced rules on not going out. Access to birth control has been severely curtailed, particularly for teenagers. The University of the Philippines Population Institute predicted a baby boom in 2020 and will balloon to these numbers, which in my clinical practice alone was evident. According to the National Demographic and Health Survey 2017 of the Philippine Statistics Authority, roughly 1 in 10 women aged 15 to 16 have begun childbearing, And the percentage of young women who have begun childbearing is lower in urban areas than in rural areas, 70% versus the 10%. Young women with some primary education and those from the poorest households are more likely to have begun childbearing than young women with higher education levels and those from the wealthiest households. This is the maternity ward of the Josefa Belia Memorial Hospital, which serves low-income communities in Manila, where the rates of teenage pregnancy are high. We usually call this the baby factory. So why is teenage pregnancy common? Number one is the distinct phenomenon during adolescence is sexual experimentation. Teens are full of curiosity in life and wish to experience more and more that comes their way. More adolescents engage in sexual activities to explore their own and partners' bodies to gain pleasure, intimacy, to achieve identity information, integration, and commitment. Discovering new things and having more freedom to do so with age, especially now that they can view different sexual behaviors in just a tap in Google and social media. Second is pressure from friends runs rampant with teenagers who just wish to be popular and do not understand the dangers that could occur with their sexual discoveries. Third is some teens have a history of consistently breaking rules of behavior at home as they repeatedly engage in delinquent behaviors. Some stress along with a history of problems with maltreatment, substance abuse, domestic violence, and or unstable employment. Some girls do not know that having sex can result in pregnancy or fully consider the responsibility of having children. Some boys who commit illegal sexual acts have serious psychological problems such as depression and the like. It affects their feelings, judgment, and choices. Teens today may have easy access to highly sexualized materials through movies, television, music, the internet, and magazines. Sex is used to sell almost everything, and ordinary media content is more highly sexualized than ever. This slide shows the realization of the young Filipino sexual behavior as released by the Demographic Research Development Foundation and the University of the Philippines Population Institute. As indicated here, there is an uptrend of the common occurrence of premarital sex over the years, almost a half from 1994 to 2013. To reiterate, 1 in 3 Filipino youth has engaged in premarital sex. That is alarming and the reason why this project is exceptionally important. Early childbearing may result in poor health outcomes and may be a threat to the country's economic growth. Pregnant adolescents are less likely to complete higher education and have lesser ability to earn more income over the course of a lifetime, causing economic losses to the country. Pregnancy during teenage years is also associated with a high risk of health problems such as preeclampsia, which is hypertension in pregnancy, anemia, contracting sexually transmitted diseases, premature delivery, postpartum bleeding, and poor mental health outcomes. Teenage mothers are more likely to experience maltreatment within a relationship as well. Contrary to the negative impacts mentioned before, for some, motherhood have given them a drive to change direction and consider a career because they have someone else to whom they are responsible to, the baby. Aside from that, there is a growth in desire for a better education and career path, stronger self-regard, projecting their achievement, and most certainly gaining respect from their family members. As Rotarians, how can we help? This is why we are here this morning. Topping the list is the word respect. To the adolescent, her beliefs and views, and removing judgments. Another is to use proper referral system to address the adolescent's concerns. Supportive school settings, vocational training, and boosting of the positive sense of self-worth through social network, exactly as this service project. In passing, for the proper referral system, we have heard about this Responsible Parenthood and Reproductive Health Act of 2012, RA 10354, stating the access of minors to family planning services. Any minor who consults at healthcare facilities shall be given age-appropriate counseling on responsible parenthood, reproductive health. Healthcare facilities shall dispense health products and perform procedures for family planning. So these are the contraceptive methods that are age appropriate for adolescents to prevent pregnancy. What are these? To give a quick rundown of the age appropriate methods from the experts on obstetrical and gynecological aspect, first are the barrier methods. Birth control preventing pregnancy by blocking the sperm. These include condoms and intrauterine devices. Another is the contraceptive implant, which gives 3 years protection. These long-acting reversible contraceptive methods of birth are the most likely to prevent adolescent unwanted pregnancy. They provide effective contraception for an extended period without requiring user action. They include injections, IUDs, and subdermal contraceptive implants. OCPs are the safest for adolescents. Adolescents are very not likely to use barrier method successfully though, but it should be promoted as a dual method protection against STIs. Although media, peer, and family have tremendous influence as risk factors to teenage pregnancy, we as Rotarians, parents, or as siblings for the Rotaractors can play a significant role in preventing teenage pregnancy by guiding teenagers to make healthy, responsible, and value-based decisions about sex. We now know what to do and we can always help in a positive way. Thank you.